Okay, people, time for another scientific test. I'm going to do a little bit of different thing this time, but again I will be testing or stress testing this thing right here, which you can see again. I'm continuing the tradition of fantastic videos. So basically this is the force feedback based VPForce Rhino, and one of the key things about it is how well does it take stress, mainly in the form of heat. Let's see what happens. Spoiler, something is going to happen. And like I said, this is going to be the most boring video ever. So let's get started because we are in a hurry to get to the boring bit. I will explain it a bit more soon, but now it's going to be less boring for a short, brief moment. Oh no, what's going to happen next? We have a Sukhoi 30 on our sides. Here we go, let's do this. Funny button has been pressed. Hey dude, you never take this into a raid fight, so you won't do it this time either, right? Right, no raid fights? Okay, no raid. And of course I could kill him in an instant, but I'm making this longer for the test. Because basically this kind of planes have so much power that there's going to be significant amount of long-term stress for the forces. As you can see, I'm yanking the stick quite a lot. Dude, where are you going? Hey, that's better. You maybe. This is kind of interesting. He doesn't want this to go into a raid fight, but he prefers like supersonic scissors. That's kind of funny, I think. Now I'm missing on purpose so that this battle takes longer. And now he's actually doing pretty okay in this scissoring thing. But it's okay, I'm missing on purpose. In general, you don't want to be in a scissors fight with a Hornet, but I think that Sukhoi is pretty good in this. So that's pretty bad for him. Okay, so now basically we reset this fight when he goes down. Now the first go we don't actually reset this fight. We watch him go down and then we fly to the... Yes. Okay, so yeah, another thing, I have this total controls thing here somewhere. And I'm also testing that right now, so you might get to see that in action. So basically what's going to happen next is we are simply going to fly back home. Which is going to be like catastrophically boring. It's just the way I like it. So do we get this part working? Yes we do. For the throttle also. And let's get the TACAN set up. Basically this total controls thing is supposed to be compatible with virtual reality, which is like here, which you can see. Much better for you, trust me, that you can see here. And it kind of is, that's true. I can find the buttons pretty well. I'm not very used to this because it's quite new. But there are like small knobs on the 5 key and so on, and the middle button here. And I'm quite liking it so far because I really don't like clicking the cockpit a lot. virtual reality with a mouse. And I'm okay with like regular buttons here, but that middle thing over there, it's kind of annoying because you have to click a lot on it, and if you can have a keypad like this, it's pretty awesome. And this is supposed to have features from like both the F-16 and the Hornet, so I'm not quite convinced about the F-16, but for Hornet it's fine. I think it doesn't have the IP and MCON buttons, but other than that it's pretty good, I'd say, so far. I've had some problems with like the connection with the USB thing is dubious for me. Might be just mine, but I'll have to ask around a bit. But to explain a little bit about what I'm doing right now and why you are being bored to death. Basically, well, the most important reason is that I can't be asked to edit this video. It's trouble, and I don't want to go trouble. I don't like trouble. Prefer things easy. But on the other hand, this is a stress test, and it's actually not quite scientific. I'm not going to publish a paper on it or anything. So the best thing I can do, or the worst thing, depends on point of view, is just to show you live what's going on so that you can follow exactly how the test goes. And the point here is that, like I said before, these modern things like the one around me right now, the Hornet, they have so much power that they can put a lot of pull on the stick and keep going. And that's quite stressful for a force feedback stick like this. Yeah, and of course this here is also pretty interesting. It's the VKB MCGU, and it's the best stick grip I've ever used. My favorite of all time. And the VPForce Rhino happens to also be my favorite thing of all time. So this is quite a decent setup I like a lot. And yeah, this total controls thing I forget. Well, it's the thing total controls do. It also seems to be a nice addition. But anyway, yeah, the point here right now, sorry about the microphone, is that I'm kind of half simulating a normal mission load. I'm going to land this plane, and then I'm going to go back into the action and see what kind of temperatures we get with kind of realistic loading. Because yes, these planes do have a lot of power, they can keep up the good work for a long time, except that they spend enormous amounts of fuel too. So in reality, even Hornet isn't going to put so much stress on this stick because it will run out of fuel eventually. That's going to be a limiting thing. So in all probability, the most of the time when you fly missions and stuff, you will have boring stuff like this, or like my videos in general, and then you have hectic action for a while maybe. And that's the kind of load these force feedback sticks need to really cope with. And yes, it's an actual use case where you go into a dogfight, fight, restart, fight, restart, fight. That is a thing, and I can already tell you that that's not going to work perfectly for the Rhino. I have tested that, so spoiler, I know. But for me, the most important thing this thing needs to handle is actual missions. Like, that's the main baseline. And we're about to see exactly how that works. Okay, we are approaching the airfield now, so let's start flying. Okay, plane, what do you want to know? I have found that me and the plane don't always agree on what. What is quite unfortunate for the plane is that I get to decide. Oh yeah, by the way, you should be able to see the temperatures like there, from there. And the thing is, I cannot see the temperatures. The only cue I get about the stress level is when the fans started blowing. I'm not talking about my fans, but the fans of Rhino. I can only imagine that any person who's a fan of mine blows up. Okay, let's get the gear down a little bit over speed so that we get track going. Ah, flat. Yeah, I could also try the auto throttle. Oh shit, auto throttle engaged. Plane, I can't possibly be below glide slope here. That's not a thing, like... What? I'm basically on a meteorite trajectory right here. This is not below glide slope. Plane? Home fuel. Plane, do you understand where we are? Okay, now we are fighting the auto throttle and it's trying to maintain this basically angle of approach or something. And I'm kind of thinking that the auto throttle is thinking that it's flying a meteorite. So I should basically just let this thing crash like this. This is quite unnatural, I don't like this at all. And I bet my hemorrhoids don't like this either. Well, actually my hemorrhoids probably love this because they're about to get new friends. Holy shit, this is like weird. I don't know how weird this is for you, but I'm totally going to flare this. I'm absolutely going to flare this. 100% I'm going to flare this. Okay. Down. Brake, 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 brake. Pick my nose. Brake, brake, brake. Then we make the next exit. Don't think we can. Fuck, yeah, we have the next one. That's fine. Okay, so now we are basically landed. I'm just going to stop the plane next to the airfield and then we go again. And this is kind of normal mission load, although we did start in the air. But I'm not hearing anything special from the Rhino, so I'm guessing the temps over there are okay. The number we are looking at, I think, is 50. Stop here, find the keyboard somewhere. Yeah. Sweet. Try again. A bit like the Teletubbies. Oh no, we have a Sukhoi. What's going to happen next? I have no idea. This might become a fight. Don't shoot me, Sukhoi. Funny button. Go. Uh-oh. This is not funny, plane. By the way, why is my stick limb here? I don't think this is what's supposed to happen. That was an interesting test. Okay, now we are about to get a lot of this fighting. No. The funny button proved to be less fun than I anticipated. But the Sukhoi isn't really doing a whole lot. Maybe they also had their own funny button. Now I'm going to miss on purpose so that this takes longer. I think the Sukhoi again wants the supersonic scissors thing. Where the hell are you going to? Good. Are you completely sure about this? Basically, does that thing even know that I'm guns only? Did he read the mission briefing too? Because if he didn't, he's just flying pretty weirdly considering I might have missiles. I'm guessing he did read the mission briefing. And now we are in this crazy supersonic reserve. Instead of raid fighting or something like that, he just wants to give me the closure I actually want here, so thank you, Sukhoi, you are very nice. Maybe he saw that I went like 0 brain function. He probably needs very accurate instrumentation to measure that kind of change in my brain function. But I don't think his brain function is very awesome either right now. Do I get this shot? I think I missed on purpose there. What are you doing now, dude? That's probably not what you're supposed to do. Hey, don't jump on me. Okay, so I think you are going to crash. When you do, we are going to reset this. Hey, what's wrong with my flight controls? I'm not overheating yet. No? Dude, there's nothing wrong with my flight control. But right now we are going to do something a little bit different from last time, and we are going to go again. Okay, reset everything. Right now this is not under very much stress. Let's put some stress on it. Oh no, there's an enemy plane on my nose. What's going to happen next? Where is the Hornet going to go? I'm going to go this way. No, I'm not. Let's go. Funny button. This time not quite as funny as last time. Hey, if you want to raid, I'm good to go. But I think you want the supersonic scissors. So. Or you just want... no, he's not probably not correct. Okay, so that's what you did want to do. Congratulations. We go again. Let's do this. Oh no, there's a Sukhoi on my nose. What's going to happen next, I wonder? I'm probably not going to pull vertical. The funny button engaged. Right, what are you doing? He's going over also, so he might be a good target for me right here. Let's not go impatient, we want this to last for a while, otherwise I would just kill him in seconds every time. Come on plane, move. We are being patient here. Just in case that dude might want to raid, I don't want to bleed everything here, even though I might get a shot on him. Dude, you can't start raiding now, you've never done that before. We are on camera now. Well, no. Actual flying F are you going to? Oh. Well, at least this should be pretty good stress testing, because I'm getting slightly stressed here. The plane said shoot and I thought, why didn't he die? Stupid plane, I hate you. Let's do some more of this maneuvering. Don't you crash into the fucking mountain again. I forbid you. I want to have a proper go at this view so that we can get some stress on the stick instead of just me. Okay, I may have overlaid that. Didn't overlay that. And there you go. Okay, he's done. And we go next. So you might already be able to see how this is the most boring thing ever. It might get interesting at some point. I'm thinking it should get interesting at some point, but I can't guarantee it. So maybe you're just watching the most boring. Congratulations, I get an achievement in itself. Don't shoot me, idiot. Funny button. Let's not go unconscious right now. So Sukhoi, what's your idea this time? He's kind of expecting me to have heat seekers because he's flaring all the time. So then he just wants me to run into it. Right? Wondering what happens to a plane if it ingests something. Now we go lag for a bit. Get a better aspect shot and go into this stupid supersonic Caesar thing again. I guess that's actually a pretty difficult shot on a gun. But again, if I had like missiles, that would be the worst thing you could possibly. And it's not the best thing to do when I have guns. Maybe that's a bit more of the artificial and a bit less the intelligent. Okay, I miss on purpose again so that this lasts longer. Okay, are you done, dude? No? Are you done now? There's a lot of stuff coming out of it. So he's down. And we go again. And I'm not hearing anything. And like I said, I can't see the temps, so... This truly might be the most boring thing and most pointless thing ever, so... Well, it's not my fault, really. So... And the guy says, or the girl says, flight controls, it means you are having a good time. And then let's see the flares. Nice air show, dude. looks like rolling scissors, but AI dude probably doesn't like it because it's less than supersonic. I might be able to pull him here, so let's pull him here. And that missed behind on purpose because I want this to last longer. Yes. Okay, this didn't last very long. Wait, there are like two dudes. Oh yeah, that's a third. This is like I'm fighting 2 against 1 here. Wow. Guys, what are the temperatures like right now? Is this actually working? Hey, hold on. I'm hearing noise here. I just heard a thing. This thing here is making a sound. Okay, so you are seeing the temperatures over there. Check them out. We have hit the overheat protection right now. So what we do this time is we fly back home in the most boring way imaginable. Just so that we can continue the test. Because the next thing we want to know is what happens if we now, after overheating, fly like a normal mission profile. So we have fuel for a weak mission profile. Yeah, we do. So, sorry about the microphone thing again. Microphone is like over here. So, we just overheated this thing, and it's not a very dramatic event on a Rhino. Is my parallel working? I think. Anyway, so it's not very dramatic on a Rhino. I lose some of that strength right away, I believe. It lessens the load on the motors, and that's basically it. I don't know what happens if I keep pushing the motors, but that's not what we are finding out today. What we are about to find out next is what happens when the stick finally does overheat, and then we fly a normal mission profile, and then we go to another fight. And it would be really interesting to see these temperatures, but I don't, so you have to tell me. Okay. I can already tell you just by the ear that the temperatures just dropped below the safe threshold or whatever. Normal threshold, the fan stopped running. And right now this is running at max capacity. So it's business as usual right now. So I'm only guessing that you saw the temperatures go down, and of course they would, because the fans are running and there's like minimal stress on the stick. All it's doing is holding steady in the middle. So 2 things here. First of all, that's not very dramatic. Mostly I just basically heard the fans running. That's how I knew that it was overheating or beginning to be close to overheating or whatever. I don't know what's actually dangerous for the motor. I think the overheat protection kicks in at 50. And the other thing is, for the review, and people want to know what is it like when it starts overheating. By the way, I already did the review, so I'm kind of testing after the fact, which is kind of stupid, but it's also fitting for me, so it's okay. Anyway, what people want to know is that when the fans start running, how annoying is it? And That's basically kind of two completely different answers. First of all, when those fans start running, they're probably the loudest thing on my computer. And it's like annoying high-pitched whine, so the sound is, it's not like earth-shatteringly loud, but it's not silent either. It's very audible and it's annoying. That's like the one side of the thing. But the other side is, like, I'm lifting my earphones here to hear if that thing is actually going. Because when I have these supersonic jet afterburners blazing around me, I'm getting all kinds of whoosh, whoosh, sounds all the time. So I can hear that, but I kind of have to listen to it specifically. So in that sense, it's basically not annoying at all. It's actually kind of hard to notice. Not impossible, but kind of hard to notice. I've actually learned to recognize the Rhino fans. Initially, when I just did flying and testing and seeing how long it takes to overheat, I didn't even recognize that the fans were running. Because that whining sound, which you probably don't hear, or didn't hear, it kind of fits in the plane's general audio. It just kind of fits. So when you're in a plane, and it's the same thing, a pretty similar thing when you have a like a big fan thing. Sorry about the microphone again. Sorry, not sorry. A big fan thing running in front of your computer. Those are very loud. It's a little bit different sound, but all in all, it's quite similar also. So if you're flying a prop plane, you don't notice that sound. Yes, it's an annoying sound. No, it doesn't actually. What? And of course my ambient temperature, because it's summer, even when I'm stone's throw away from the Arctic Circle, kind of summer here. So the ambient temperature might be a little bit higher than in the previous test. And that actually makes a difference here to an extent, because the threshold for the fans is, I believe, something like 50 degrees Celsius, and when your room temps are something like 20 plus, that leaves you quite a little difference between the temperature. And if you ever studied physics at all, you will remember that transfer of heat, or the efficiency of heat transfer, depends heavily on the difference in temperature. And for example, when your CPU is running at closer to 100 degrees and your ambient temperature is 20, it's much more efficient than when your motors need to be below 50. That's a bigger challenge for this. So if your own cockpit goes to like 30 plus degrees, that's already probably going to make a difference in how effective the cooling is. And I'm running pretty moderate temperatures. Yeah, but there's nothing moderate about this angle of approach. Like, holy shit. I'm never going to get used to it. But anyway, so what happens next is plane stop talking to me. What happens next is I'm going to land this plane and fly another dogfight and then see if I overheat again. Or if this small amount of flying was enough for the Rhino to cool down enough to take me through another dogfight with it. That should be kind of halfway almost interesting. Which is basically the record in my videos. And this is actually quite exciting. Plane shut up. Like planes shouldn't make noises in this situation because I'm starting to doubt myself, check the gear and all that stupid stuff, and I'm supposed to focus on I'm totally going to flare this. Brake, 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 brake. Okay, so now we are almost ended. Can we make this? I think we can make it. We didn't fall over, so we can make it. I wonder how often actual pilots think, can we make this, and one way to find out. I kind of hope not that one. So, again. And by the way, this thing here is the wing takeoff panel. It's also pretty good for virtual reality stuff. And these are of course the Thrustmaster whatever the things are. Okay, we have a plane in front of us. Let's go. Funny button. Full thrust. Let's do this. Uh-oh. I almost said that I don't want to like overstress myself this time. Why am I still seeing that icon? Why? Okay, the good thing here is that we are about to get a pretty comprehensive test here. We're going to get a long raid fight with him. Well, actually we are not. So basically I made this exciting on purpose so that it's a better test. That's why I went all black. Once you go black, came back. Yeah, now I could of course kill him because I'm an excellent shot, but I don't. I want to make this more stressful. I'm wondering if Valmis is watching this and being very stressed. Could be, I don't know. Look what I'm doing to his stick. Like not his stick, but the stick he designed. I wouldn't do things to his stick. It's not something I would do. Okay, so why did I do that? Come on, plane. Maybe don't fall on top of me, please. You're not running fans? No? Okay, let's do this one more time. Tell me what the temps are, I can't see. One more time. Let's go. Altitude. Funny button. No unconsciousness, please. Just a nice tight turn. Okay, now I can hear the fans. Only the fans. So it takes some stress to make the thing overheat, but not a lot. Dude, where are you going? stop hugging those fucking... Well, anyway, there we have another overheat happening. Total disaster and the world is ending. So that's like the stress test right there. I think we can basically fly home. Anyway, I think that's mostly it for the stress test. About, please. Think you could engage like... Oh, thank you. 10 seconds. And by the way, I'm really liking this thing here also. Oh wait, I was on the right page already. I really like being able to press these buttons, and these are actually very nice and firm buttons here. And it's very good because I can feel them, because I can see them in virtual reality. I can feel them without any danger of actually activating the buttons. And I really like having this upfront control thing where I can just click the buttons and I don't have to use my mouse. So kudos to total controls also. And again, I can still hear the Rhino doing noises. But I'm not actually sure what rhinos actually sound like the ones with the horn on their nose. But I doubt they actually sound very much like that. It's not a very realistic controller, I believe, but I guess we'll just have to leave it. By the way, where's the wind coming from? Which way should I land this? Anyway, I don't really care. So, the conclusions on this test. You can see the temperatures. And I can just hear that the fans went out. So now we are again under the... yeah, so basically you just got to see it live. Demonstration on how the overheating on this thing works. And personally I'm not that worried about it after having tested it for a while. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like when my room ambient temp goes to 30 plus in the summer. I really actually hope it doesn't, but it might. If that makes a big difference or something, but so far I am pretty convinced that this thing right here can handle pretty much any regular mission loads, because even planes like this that can handle a lot of pulling and pushing and throwing around, they will eventually run out of fuel unless you go quit restart, quit restart, quit restart and just jump into the battle instead. So I'm pretty confident in stating that for pretty much most any usual case, the Rhino can actually handle normal mission loads. Now, dogfight practice, like I just did, so I didn't do anything unusual really there. Like that's what I quite often would do. Just jump into a dogfight, practice shooting, maneuvering, and then go again and go again and go again. And the thing is, the Rhino will get into trouble in that kind of loading. And of course, I think I'm running this at full power right now. So that's what you get stress testing at maximum settings. But then again, the Hornet doesn't do any kind of actual force feedback things. Those might add to the stress. But anyway, that's what you get. And even without any actual force feedback effects running, this is still by far my favorite joystick base ever, because it doesn't feel like you are jumping on a trampoline when you are fighting springs or stuff. It's like really good solid feel, and the adjustability is amazing and so on. So these are kind of exciting times for me testing this stuff, because I really want it to work well. Because the only things that could go wrong with this stick is overheating thing, which doesn't look like a problem, and then general durability, which I can't say much about. I haven't tested this for a very long time yet. I'm not so worried about that in any specific way, but I just know. But besides those two things, this is by like a massive margin the best joystick base I have ever tested, and I have tested a lot of them. And the thing this does is it has this really nice feel where it's not springy, it's really solid, feels nice, and of course you can easily adjust it to be a lot like anything you want it to be. And by the way, unlike the previous test, I'm now running these throw limiter plates, like 18 degrees or something. I don't know, but Mr. Palixa does this for you on request. Whatever floats your boat. And as we approach the airfield, well, I don't know if my test was a success or not, if this is the kind of test that can be success or failure. Because we basically just want to find out what happens, and whatever happens, then we have found out what happens. I guess I'm the winner here. Kudos to me. And the only thing I can say here is basically that yes, overheating is a thing that happens to force feedback stuff, and it doesn't seem to happen to Rhino especially often. And when it happens, the results aren't at least immediately catastrophic. It's actually kind of halfway difficult to notice that anything happened. Yes, you do lose some strength on the stick, and I can only guess that at some point that loss is going to become somewhat significant. Altitude. But all in all, yeah, it doesn't overheat that easily, and when it overheats, it's not a spectacular event. So I'd say things are still looking pretty damn good for this. But of course, again, what I just did there, it's basically normal dogfighting practice. I wish this thing did hold up to that kind of stress, but I'm not very worried or bummed out that it didn't. And of course I could have continued dogfighting and seeing actually what happens. Does the heat go up, and does it explode eventually or something? But maybe that's for another video. And I might want to have another one ready to go. Upload this one. But yes, so far the Rhino seems to be holding up nicely, and the total controls thing is quite nice also. I've liked it a lot. What I'm having the most problems here is this plane thinking that I need to crash into the airfield instead of landing. Like when you're going on a boat Stop speaking, stupid. Anyway, when you're going... Well done. Anyway, when you're going on a boat, it's so unnatural anyway, so that it doesn't bother you that much, but this is like a normal airfield where normal planes land normally, and not like this. But what kind of a crash is this supposed to be? Do we let the plane crash? Wants to? Am I nose down? I don't think I'm... Oh no, we are not going to. Plane crash like it wants to. Well, anyway. I think that's pretty much it for today. And you better pray or bribe me or something that I won't do any more of these stupid videos you have to watch. I think my own curiosity has been satisfied for a while now, and I'm pretty confident and happy in this thing's ability, especially in the most important thing, which is handling mission loads. So you can take off on a mission, start fighting, and without any kind of fear of at least catastrophic results. So anyway, I think that's it for today, and for a couple of more days. And if you're lucky, that's it for a very long time. So see you sometime later. Or here or not.